Hello everyone, Bill here from Napierdalać. Welcome to episode 2 of Forging the Sounds of Battle, looking at the mix for Drums of War. Today we're going to be looking at guitars, bass and maybe a couple other bits. We'll see what we've got time for. If you've not listened to Drums of War already, make sure you do before you watch this, because obviously this is spoilers. There's a music video on YouTube and it's on Spotify as well, so yeah. Alright, let's dive into it. So let's look at bass first. So I did reamp bass, but I didn't use much of the reamp signal. We'll discuss that shortly. But first, let's look at the DI. And the dark glass. And then this is the amp signal I got on top. Okay, first of all, let's look at the DI. So let's turn off all the plugins and we'll see how we built this up. So this is the DI. Very quiet. So first of all, we got an instance of Pro Q3. I'm using FabFilter, by the way, for all the plugins. Oh, and we are in Reaper because it's the best DAW. So we got a nice bass boost, a trebly-ish boost, 3.7, and just a mid scoop where the guitars need to sit. Turn that shit up. It's not doing a whole lot, but it helps. Next, compression. I'm using the DI attack enhancer for bass within Pro C2. Getting about minus 3 dB of reduction, 2.5 to 3 dB. And then I'm using the bass grinder free from Audio Assault. Turns it into a much more usable signal. Okay, next, the dark glass. This is a slightly more distorted version of the clean, really. Okay, plugins wise, it's quite simple. Really only using the Ignite Amps SHB1. That sounds like this. Meaty. I've got this as well, which helps in some of the lead parts when around 150 Hz it gets a little bit out of control. So on the bass bus I'm using Pro Q set like this. We've got a nice 4 dB boost at about 100 Hz. We're shelving off below 20 Hz or so. Again, a mid scoop where those guitars sit, and we're shelving off anything above 3.5K. That just tidies up the sound a bit and makes it fit into the mix a bit better. Next, we got a bit of compression just to help with dynamics, again, helping it sit in the mix. There you go. Yeah, to supplement that main sound, we also have the reamped, which kind of just has that trebly bits that I shelved off on here. As you can see, I'm kind of emphasizing that 3K region. Just makes it sound a little bit more complete. Okay, lead bass now. There's a Spinal Tap joke there somewhere. This is for the chorus. That line gets doubled a few times in the orchestra as well. But yeah, I just used the clean for this. Dark glass was a bit much. Processing is a bit whack. Let's have a look at that. So I'm using the bass grinder again, but I'm using the Razor amp and cab. So this is the DI clean again. Bass grinder. Sounds pretty terrible. I've scooped all the bass off here because, you know, sonically speaking, we don't actually want bass here, even though it's a bass guitar, because otherwise it's just going to get very muddy very quick if we have multiple layers of bass. Saturn 2. Not doing a whole lot there. Just a bit of EQ going on, and we've squashed the dynamics as well. Pro Q, doing all the magic. Just capturing that 800 Hz-ish region. Then on the bus track, got a bit more Saturn 2 again just to help level things out. I'm chucking the volume up by 12 dB, and I've got a soft clipper on here as well just to help it really push through. That soft clipper is very much the difference between the lead bass being buried there and it actually being audible within the mix. So yeah. There you go, that's bass. Good fun. Alright, guitars next. Let's have a look. So, guitars were reamped at New Adelphi Studios. We recorded them forever ago and reamped them in New Adelphi. Some pictures on screen now. We used an orange stack and a Marshall stack recorded at the same time. We quad tracked as well. And we used 2 mics on each cab. So that means there's 16 signals in total. Or 4 mics for each take, so 4 times 4 is 16. In the end, we only ended up using 8 signals. We used 1 amp for each take, so yeah, just sounded a bit nicer. Sounds a bit weird, that. I am going to turn off the sidechain compression. Sounds a bit more normal, that. Cool, let's turn the processing off and let's dive into the amps. So this is what the orange sounds like. Okay, let's keep some of the processing on actually. Let's keep the volume on. Mute the reverb as well. So that's the orange. And this is the Marshall. Two quite distinct tones, and then blend them together. Cool, let's dive into the processing I've done. So first, C2. So you may have noticed there, I'm mainly using this to clamp down on palm mutes. Not sure why, but for some reason palm mutes are louder than everything else. Therefore, a bit of compression helps them sit better in the mix. Watch here. There we go. So yeah, it's not doing a whole lot. There's about 3 dB in reduction. 4:1 ratio, threshold set at -15. Fairly fast attack and fast release as well. Okay, I'm just doing some surgical frequency stuff here, really. So I'm shelving off past about 13 kilohertz, and that just increases clarity a lot more with the guitars. It gets rid of all that hiss that you get from a real amplifier. Next, I'm doing this. Sounds a bit ridiculous, that EQ, but it works very well in the mix. Everything kind of sits perfectly with that. Shelving off below about 40 hertz, boosting the fundamental, a little bit of mid, and a nice big push. 4,400 hertz there. And yeah, volume adjustment to make it nice and loud. So I've also got the sidechain compression, and this basically means when the drums are quiet, the guitars get loud, because I'm feeding the... basically, the drums are driving this compressor. If I hit play here, you can kind of see the kick and snare. Ta, 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 just there. And a kick here as well. So if I play that as one. If I turn this off, obviously it's quieter anyway, but so there you go, rhythm guitars done. That was quick, wasn't it? Fucking hell. Mics we used on the rhythm guitars actually. So on each amplifier we used an M201 and a 414. So there you go. Cool, let's look at lead guitar next. So something different I done with lead guitar this time round was record about 1 million fucking layers. I say million. We have 5, I think, total in this song. There's a lot of automation going on with stuff coming in and out based on harmonically what's needed, as well as sort of volumetrically what's needed, I suppose. So yeah, this is the first chorus. I'll go through all the stems in a sec. There you go, that sounds pretty goddamn cool. Next we have just before the modulation, when it goes a bit more ambient, I guess. I'll play that in context actually. Should say as well, lead guitars performed by Wesley entirely on this song. Remember when we recorded that little bit, we spent about half an hour laughing at it, because if you really crank up the volume on this, it sounds parametal as fuck. Always gets me that. Let's turn that back down. So yeah, it's just about being creative really, when tracking this. These weren't actually reamped. These were, believe it or not, these have been frozen now. But believe it or not, these weren't reamps. These were done through I'm forgetting what the plugin's called. Let me find it. It's called that's it, the Prophet. So yeah, these weren't reamped. All the other lead guitars on the album are done with a Kemper, but this just sounded good as it was. So this was the Prophet fed into just one of the default Reaper amp sims, and it sounds pretty fucking alright, to be honest. It doesn't sound that much different from what we got from the Kemper, so yeah. But it's just about being creative, really, when you're tracking this, getting as many layers as possible, and then picking and choosing when it comes to actually mixing it all down. Alright, finally, the last chorus. Lots of layers here. So this is the main one. The high and the low swapped here, so the high bit of harmony is actually the main line now. Then the low and the harmony. Yeah, so I increased the reverb slightly here as that fades out. That just kind of lets the guitar fade away really quite nicely. So yeah, there you go. The guitar's done. That was episode 2. Next time I'm going to look at vocals, and then time after that probably some orchestra stuff, or maybe the other way around. We'll see. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this, guys. Check out Drums of War if you haven't already. Go listen to it again if you already have, because why not? We're playing some gigs, we're releasing some music that's possibly on screen now, or you might have seen a teaser before the start of this video. But yeah, hope you've had a good one, guys, and yeah, stay awesome. See you later.